Oh,
Hello?
I had 2 cancellations in a row, but I'm intending to persevere.
Who canceled?
Neal X said that he had some computer issues.
Ha, ha, ha.
I'm not horribly heartbroken, truth be told.
I know you're not.
I know.
I've heard
It would have been interesting, because here's the thing. I know you would have been the right co-host to have for that one, and that would have been a nightmare to try and convince Digi, hey, Sheldon's the right man for the job. I never got a chance to ask him. Like, there's never a good time to really tell him, ever.
Well, fuck that.
All he would have had to do was say no, and I'm like, oh, hey, I want to ask you this thing, and like, nothing. I'm like, okay, well, fuck it. Maybe somebody told him.
I wanted to chat with Neal.
I think so. Like, yeah, Sheldon here has watched
Whatever.
all of Elements of Brony. I caught the first 2 and skimmed the 4th.
Oh, they're so good.
Yeah, you never know that. I was pissed off when Vectors went right in the crapper. I'm like, God damn it. We worked hard to get that one to work.
Okay.
All right, cool. Let's go. This is FNGR, and today on Limbo Podcast, I am joined by some of the old team Corpulent Brony,
Hello, everybody.
Sheldon Penderhughes III.
What's up, horse people?
There we go. Mech user. Am I saying it right?
Mech user 23.
Mech user 23. I've gone back and forth on that. It's funny. I had it right the first time. Hello. And joined by Past Analysis, this week's King of Limbo.
Hello, what's up? How's it going?
I think I remember hearing before, but just for the sake of the audience, what is your field of study, Pasta?
I'm a history sociology major at Virginia Tech, going for a double major and a psych minor. Started with a history major, and then everything else just kind of gradually came in.
Is there a period of history you're focused on?
Actually, no. I don't have any sort of preferred area, and that's kind of one of my issues, is that I just basically like the stuff that's new. So, I don't really have any like area that I'd want to go down in.
Do you have any inspirational advice for struggling college students?
In terms of what? Like in terms of getting the work done? In terms of
any like what kind of struggles have you run into in college that you've managed to work your way through? They'd be like, yeah, I'd like to recommend this for students just striking out and basically things being a bit more difficult than they planned.
Well, the only advice I can give is don't procrastinate and maybe meditate. Like, I'm trying stuff right now to get rid of the anxiety, because there's a pretty large amount of anxiety in just getting all the shit you need to get done. Plus, I'm going for 18 credits in the next few semesters, so it's going to be pretty tough for me, but meh.
Let's see. Each class is 3 credits, generally, yes?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
This semester I'm taking 6 classes with 19 credits total, so one of them is 4.
Man, you're crazy.
Yep.
I've done a semester where I've had 3 or 4 history classes. They're fun until the papers are due.
Yeah. Generally that's how it is for me, but I usually kind of wing the papers. I just wing them. Like, I can get them done usually in a night. I mean, last semester I had several classes I had to just wing papers. And my teacher loves them because I always make these like really complex arguments.
Mm-hmm.
So just I'm pretty good at taking the stuff that I have and kind of working it into something interesting. I'm less good at research. I don't.
Sorry, guys, we gotta cut it off there. Past Analysis is dying of tuberculosis.
Whooping cough. He was only 21.
He's going to be studying Doc Holliday.
I'm back.
There he is.
Yeah.
We were
He is miraculously
risen from the grave.
Yeah. No, but yeah. So I just kind of the area that I'm worst in is research, because I can't really parse out which things are good and which things aren't good. I just kind of want all of it. So I'm not very good in that area.
Oh, so any questions where I give you like a giant sandbox to play with, you're going to get completely lost. Let's try that out here. What other kind of animations do you like besides MLP?
I'm a huge fan of Steven Universe.
Mm-hmm.
Gravity Falls is another big one.
Anything older that you grew up with that you're like, oh.
If we're talking like older stuff, I'd probably say like Camp Lazlo, Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. Let's see, what's several ones. Cat Dog was also a pretty fun show.
Any specific characters that really leaped out at you?
Not really. Back in the day, it kind of was much less serious at shows. I mean, honestly, I wasn't really that serious about MLP until like all the season 3 shit happened with the analysis community. So
Did you have like any?
Ah, the good old days.
Yeah, the good old days.
Yes, the good old days.
I was gonna ask, did you have like that oh shit moment when you ran into all these people, or were like when you ran into like Tommy and Digi, were they always just friends to you?
I did. Brony Con 2013 was really the point in time where it was basically like, oh shit, I'm around these people I really respect. But like now, I don't know, I kind of see them as they're not all that high and mighty compared to me. Just because I've spent more time with them. Like Digi and Tommy are both on my Skype, though we don't talk as much. But yeah, and then like when 2014 Brony Con came around, I just kind of was used to it at that point. Like, it was cool seeing Dr. Wolf and all them in person, but it just didn't. I've never had that really oh shit moment, except probably BronyCon 2013. I'd say I was maybe a little bit like happy to meet like T-Bap because I mean I love T-Bap's stuff.
Oh, hands down.
Yeah, hands down. So yeah. And I heard that Gibbon might be coming to BronyCon 2015, so...
Yeah, he says he's trying to get here.
Yeah, that would be awesome, because I'm going again, so...
Definitely.
I guess we all have to go buy his t-shirt to help him come or something, I don't know.
I ever wonder if he got those. Jesus, I just lost my thought.
What did Gibbon say? Gibbon was like, yeah, I've sold 2 t-shirts.
Yeah, Jesse.
I bought one, and then Jesse bought one.
And he only gets the money if like a certain number are sold.
I think he said 4 is before he
Yeah.
gets into the money. Probably 10%, I'm guessing.
I think he said, all I need to do is buy 100, and then I'll be in the money.
Let's see. Yeah. I've heard this discussion before. Was there anyone that you were a fan of after meeting that you were kind of, this guy's kind of a bit of a jerk? You're a little underwhelmed.
So like their reputation went down after I met them.
Yeah, I thought of someone specifically that made that remark about someone else that I'm not going to drop either name right now. Oh, well, if you insist. Yeah.
Always edit it out.
Yeah. Puzzle said that about Brony. He's like, I was the biggest fan until I met him. I'm like, oh my god, what a jerk. I'm leaving it in.
I don't know if I could really say that there was anyone. No. I mean, no one really comes to mind. Everyone who, like... I don't have that many people like that I'm really a big fan of, so that whole like sort of process can't really happen. I don't think that very high of most people in the analysis community to begin with. So
if I were still getting animations from Crown Prince, that would have been yours right there. Just Pasta looking all curmudgeonly and angry. I don't think highly of that many people at all. What's the, I know that you seem to have a bit of an ensemble of, lost her damn name, Sunset Shimmer plushies. What's the most expensive piece of pony merch you own?
Probably my Sunset Shimmer plushie I got at last year's BronyCon. It was $65, so.
Oh, you haven't slipped into corpulent levels of insanity. Good.
No, I have not. But granted, with everything combined, I spent over $200 on Sunset Shimmer stuff at last year's BronyCon. So.
Oh, you cute.
Man, Pasta, I used to make fun of you for liking Sunset so much, and then fucking I watched Rainbow Rocks like last week, and I don't know, something happened. I loved it, and now I get it. I get it, man. I totally get it.
Well, the funny thing is, I kind of feel like you definitely get it more now than you used to get it. But you still, like, you gotta love the first one too, man, to really understand.
I do, I watched Equestrian Girls last night. Oh my god, I love that movie. Holy shit.
Then you get it.
I love it. I love it. It's so good. I just stopped caring.
I know, Corpulent. I'm having a hard time not arguing
about it and all the problems. I'm like, fuck it. I'm just gonna like sit down and watch this and just like it. And I did. I loved it.
Glad she finally gets the respect she deserves.
Yes.
Granted, she still deserves a lot more respect.
But I do have this question set up for specifically that. How long did it take for you to get into Sunset? Was it like, the first look at her, or like how long into the movie do you like, damn, I really like this character?
Well, let's see. I mean, like, I was really interested in general in Sunset Shimmer's character prior to the movie.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like nearly as big as it is now. In the first movie, what probably, like, just her stealing Twilight's crown probably, like, was the big moment for me, because it just opened up a huge load of questions, and unlike a lot of other people, I'm not really someone who dislikes new questions being risen, and like, I thought that they just in general, as the film went on after that point, I got more and more invested in her character. I think that what's awesome about her character is that she is a mystery, And I mean, I feel like, what I do is I basically think, if you have this character with this huge past, and so she used to be sort of on Twilight's level, like this huge important pony who was the like prodigy student of what is essentially God to this universe.
I wouldn't put her on the same level as Twilight, though. That. Okay,
fair point. Maybe not
okay.
but like.
He doesn't understand friendship.
Scented Shimmer.
Gentlemen, we're not here to pick on the guest.
Okay.
There's a closing
Sorry,
question I'm specifically saving for that Pasta probably already knows what it's going to be, but that'll be way at the end. Way.
No, but I mean, like, she still was sort of like on Twilight's level before Twilight went to Ponyville. So she was pretty high up there. And then, we see her in the first Equestrian Girls movie, and she's reduced to this high school bully. I mean, a lot of people get pissed because, like, oh, this is stupid. Why is she just a high school bully? I think this is really interesting. Why is she a high school bully? How did this happen? I think that that's just like the hotbed for creativity, but a lot of people, don't. But yeah.
Who was your original favorite before Sunset? I know that's probably got to feel like a lifetime ago.
My original favorite before Sunset, and you can actually see this if you go back to like past videos, was 3 characters. Because back then I wasn't committing to any one. Twilight Sparkle, Applejack, and Fluttershy. And the reason I liked them back then was that I kind of felt like I related to them the most. The sort of, I guess, disparity between which ones I related more to was kind of insignificant. Because, like, I really didn't relate at all to Rarity, Rainbow Dash, or Pinkie back in the day, so.
I'm going to try and skip past it. Let's keep these positive as possible. Are you a gamer at all, Past?
Sort of, not really. I am a World of Warcraft player, but I don't currently play that much right now. I have, I have 3 or 4 90s, and then I have several that are in the 80s or 70s range.
How many expansions did you get for Warcraft? How much money would you say you overall sank into that?
I have no idea. I've been playing World of Warcraft ever since it came out in 2004. So I have like tons of experience in the game. I have every expansion, though I still need to play more of Warlords of Draenor. But yeah, no, I just don't have
the time.
I don't have the time, but I also just I'm not in the mood right now.
Yeah. Did you have that period of your life where like, damn, I wasted a month or a year on WoW?
Nah. I more so have periods of time where I'm like, wow, I wasted a lot of money not playing WoW while I had my subscription for WoW. That's more of what I ended up having. Because I just get distracted very easily.
Is there something you learned the hard way that had like a major impact on your life?
Learned the hard way that had a major impact on my life.
Yes. Pretend you're talking to your kids now.
Something I learned the hard way which had a major impact on my life. Huh. That's a good question. Though there are quite a lot of... Can I come back to that question?
Yeah, we can come back to that. If you had 4 more hours in your day, what would you do with it?
If I had 4 more hours right now,
yeah,
I probably would try to get this homework done that I'm procrastinating on.
We'll definitely wrap up in an hour. I'm not going to have...
Wasn't one of your advices not to procrastinate?
Yes.
Yes, very good, Corpulent.
Come on, Corp. Everybody's
I'm paying attention. I'm paying attention.
I like
saying,
that.
So maybe one of the advices is don't join, the Limbo podcast when you have something else.
Yeah, the Limbo podcast is pretty subpar in my opinion.
There we go.
I'm just joking.
Okay, well, since we're going to go that way, let's reach back in history. The date is April 16th, 2013. A young, bright-eyed, possibly naive past analysis was minding his own goddamn business when 7 haters started about busting his balls.
When was this?
This was April 16th, 2013, and merely to defend yourself on CBD, you had to smack around 3 of the elite ruling class.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, the Tommy Oliver beatdown.
Yes, I was about to say, your name might have gone down in history if it wasn't for that meddling Brony Curious. Was that all staged or what?
No. And what happened was they just were talking, and I was talking shit about Rarity in the comments section. And then, one thing led to another, and I was in the podcast. Then A and Y had he was very nice. He decided to, let Tommy Oliver in. during that time. And then Tommy Oliver was very nice to me. He talked civilly to me. He didn't yell. He agreed with me about everything I said about Rarity.
You actually had me going for a second there. I was like, wait a minute.
No. Yeah. It was the complete opposite.
No, I understand. I've seen the video. I'm like, wait a minute, my brain just stopped working here.
Yeah, no, but it was not staged at all. It was one of those awesome natural moments that doesn't happen as often. Because, the analysis community is pretty fake.
What do you feel happened to CBD?
I feel like people just got fed up with Byter. I feel like people just kind of they didn't want to talk with Byter. Because generally, people feel pretty, annoyed when they talk to Byter. This isn't something that I'd say, this is a feeling type of thing. And I feel like when the CBD opened up, it was bound to kind of hit this roadblock. It was bound to, the nature of how people are and how Byter is just meant that there would be some tension.
Did he used to get reined in more? Is that why it seemed like it was a better place than it is now?
I don't know if it ever really was. I think people's patience just kind of died out. I mean, I know that A&Y did try to rein things in a little bit, but
Mm-hmm.
It was sort of like a discussion podcast, and every time things would get out of hand, it would be during a discussion. So there wasn't really you can only pull back so much. So yeah, I mean, I still watch it occasionally, not too often, because it's just not they're giving a lot of first impressions.
Mm-hmm.
I find, so not as interested in that.
Certainly. Do you have any favorite movies that you inspired by? Yeah.
Favorite movies that I'm inspired by, or just favorite movies that are
something classical, something that you're I'd recommend this to any of my fans.
Well, probably Anchorman. I'm pretty big into certain comedy movies.
Mm-hmm.
Anchorman is one. Then let's see. Just trying to a lot of Will Ferrell movies I really enjoy. And then if you're actually getting serious, some movie I don't really keep a list of my favorite movies.
Mm-hmm.
Or anything. Favorite episodes, I usually just have my first one or two. 12 Years a Slave was great. I loved that movie. Lincoln was an amazing movie. Of course I'm a history buff, so I'd love that stuff.
Certainly.
Yeah.
I assume you're still young and I don't know, what's the most exotic place that you've traveled to so far?
Most exotic place? Foreign? Or
yeah, if you've been anything like that, or
probably Cancun, Mexico. Back in, I think, 2007? Yeah, 2007. That's when me and my family went down to Cancun. We saw, the Mayan temples that they had there, and it was a really awesome trip. Lasted, a week.
You went to Chichen Itza?
Maybe? I think so, yeah.
Yeah, that place is awesome, man. I've been down there.
Yeah, love it. Just awesome to take in the scenery and whatnot.
Did you get sick down there?
I got sunburned down there.
Oh, okay.
But I got sick when I went.
I was going to say English heritage, don't tan very well. Let's see. What's the most expensive thing you've ever lost or broken?
Most expensive thing I've ever lost or broken.
Wreck a car yet?
Nope. Haven't broken a car yet. It would probably be... I know that I have broken a phone. I have broken and lost quite a bit of phones in my life, sadly.
Oh, so you're around the 100 range. Yeah.
Yeah. Nothing huge.
Oh, I'll have to skip right over what's the most trouble you've ever been in your life. That's pretty charmed.
Most trouble? Damn.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
Most trouble. I don't see, here's the thing. When I'm not in the mood,
yeah,
I'm not very good at coming up with the shit I've had a lot of trouble in.
I know. Well, the backup plan I remember, just because you brought it up during the Digi podcast, you mentioned something about some dudes pulled a knife on you guys or something earlier.
Oh, in Brony Con 2013, we were with quite a bit of folks.
Mm-hmm.
They were Tommy Oliver's friends, but he didn't know them as well as he knew us.
Mm-hmm.
And the day of BronyCon, Friday that day, we were essentially kicked out of the room.
Heard about that?
Yeah, we all paid $70 and we were all kicked out of the room because we found out that the other two guys had paid over $100 each for to be there. There was a lot of stuff that just seemed really, really weird, and it felt like they were just kind of intentionally trying to kick us out. So, I mean, you should have been there. Digi and his brother Vector almost went into a full-fledged fight. They probably would have won. I mean, yeah. I mean, but like, was that the most trouble I've ever been in my life?
Oh, I'm waiting for you to say, oh, that wasn't even top 5. I'm like, well, now you really have to tell us.
Come on, like, what about that time you robbed the liquor store? Or,
No.
You were at this party, and then this dude, like, crashed his car into your place, and you freaked out, and you might have, like, accidentally did something to him, and you don't want anyone to know, and you can, like, reveal that here only on Lingo.
I mean, like, trouble as in I caused shit, or...
No, you could be on the butt end of it, basically, where you're like, oh, crap. Yeah, if you don't want to take responsibility.
Well, I guess, I think it was when I was in maybe, like, middle school.
Okay.
I had, like, this crazy bruise. My brother basically slipped on a shard of ice, and I had basically a triangle stitch wound, like, bruise on my chin. It was a 3-point stitch, so it wasn't like your classic just one, like they had to just stitch a line. They had to stitch a triangle back together. Yeah.
That's a really shitty place to get a bruise.
Yeah.
Or to get stitches at all. Ugh.
Yeah, I had trouble eating for quite a while.
Ouch.
Ouch.
Yeah.
And with it being triangle shaped, Illuminati.
Yep.
What's the worst part of the internet for you?
Worst part of the internet.
Ooh, the Brony fandom.
It's up there, I'm sure.
Oh, I'm sure we're part of the worst part, but I don't think that we're the center of that worst part.
Worst part? I mean, granted, I don't go everywhere online.
Mm-hmm. That you know about, that you've been to. They're like, ugh.
The places I've been to, I don't know. I'd probably say that, like, forums are pretty much the worst, like, just in general. They
like MLP
suck.
forums?
Yeah, MLP forums can get pretty bad, too. I just find, like, if you want to have, like, a case of human stupidity, go to forums. Like, you'll find a plenty amount of just idiocy and scum. I don't think YouTube comments are nearly that bad. I think that people...
I don't know about that, Pat.
I mean, I think I've seen some pretty shitty YouTube comments. They're not as, like, maybe they can get bad, but they're not, like, consistently bad.
I'll show you some of mine.
No. Say, Mitch, I'm going to try and open up the door for you here a little bit. What are your thoughts on, like, say, YouTubers that go through piece by piece monitoring every comment on their channel? Yeah, what do you think of behavior like that?
I mean, I don't really mind that. People who are willing to, like... Are you saying that they're gonna comment to each person?
No. Oh, well, no. Like, for example, let's say this random nameless person were to set up certain parameters and police and censor his entire channel.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You're talking about Jerry Peet.
Oh, I don't know. Oh, you said it, not me.
That's what I heard.
I have to be very delicate as the time clicks down for me.
I mean, like, I think it's kind of lame.
Yeah.
It's kind of like... You don't really have the integrity to just let people post. I mean, but at the same time, like, it is his channel.
Oh,
It
yeah.
is their channel, this hypothetical person's channel.
Yes.
So, like, at the same time, I don't fault them that much. I just kind of think that it's kind of a low blow. It's not, like, the worst thing that they could possibly do. It's just on this channel, which they have, and they make stuff on this channel, they're able to regulate what people, can say, and if they say something too much, then they get kicked. But
I'm tucking away that integrity line just in case. You never know.
I had a video.
It's not that much of a bruise to integrity.
I think the jawline on the subject won't be that strong either. I was like,
I had this video once that I uploaded, and I knew it would be extremely controversial, and I set it to monitor all comments. And the one thing I can say about that is it's a pain in the ass to keep up with, because the video actually did pretty well. It was unlisted, but I think it got like a few thousand views. But there were so many comments that were just bullshit that I had to delete, I think I only posted maybe 5% of the comments, and it was one I was really serious. I didn't want it to go negative and everything. So,
would you mind telling us what that video was, or?
There was a Brony who committed suicide last year.
Oh, that one.
Yeah, I remember
He posted a video on his YouTube channel, his goodbye video, and I downloaded it before it really became a big story for a video for Pony Tonight, just announcing the news, and I did a thingy for him, about suicide and everything. And then someone took down his channel, because his family probably did.
Mm-hmm.
But I still had the video, and people were asking for it. So I just made it unlisted, and I monitored all the comments, and there were so many horrible comments that I had to delete.
Well, you had to understand
Wow.
that's a very touchy subject, man.
Yeah.
It is, yeah. And I made it unlisted because I didn't want it to be a public thing that got out there too much, but,
How many views did you said you got? Like 10K or so?
The news story itself got like 10K, but the video that was unlisted got maybe 4,000 or so. People started sharing it around. It doesn't get many comments now, luckily,
Oh yeah.
because it's not public. So
Well, that's old news.
yeah, like I have a question for Post.
Mm-hmm.
You used to make a lot of content, and I noticed, because we're in a couple of groups together on Skype, I have noticed you saying that you're working on something. Do you have something, like, are you going to get back into the whole analysis game or reviewing or something, or what are your plans right now? Are you going to make some more videos, or?
Right now I actually do have plans. I have like 3 sort of ideas I'm bouncing around, 3 sort of series things. I apologize to all my subscribers because hiatuses happen unintentionally all the time with my stuff. Prior to season 4, I had unintentional hiatuses out the window. I mean, season 4, I even had hiatuses in that. So usually what my problem is that I'll say that an idea is really good, and then I'll go into it and I'll be like, oh shit, I'm basically saying what another person has said. And to me, that's kind of like the thing I really don't want to do. I don't like to repeat what other people say. So and that kind of rules out reviews. I don't think I'm ever gonna do a review again. I have a series idea which is sort of similar to reviews, but not quite. It is pretty distinctly different. It's just in reviews, you have to touch on the key aspects of the episode, which means that you're probably going to be giving, I like this thing, or I hate this thing, or, something in between. You're by definition, you're going to be addressing kind of some obvious things. Dr. Wolf, to me, kind of does this. Every now and then he'll maybe have a point which I didn't kind of see in his reviews, but generally, I just think that the review format isn't really that good to getting out new opinions.
I definitely agree there. I always try to focus more on trying to find things that I think are more personal, that I can relate to the episode, or things that I think I'm a little older, I think, than most people who watch my videos. So things that maybe they haven't heard of.
Yeah.
It works sometimes. But,
yeah, I mean, your reference to the to that book in the '80s, the fish one. That was I didn't know about that. So that was a pretty cool point.
It sounded familiar, but I didn't remember anything about it. I was like, I think somebody cited this somewhere before. Oh,
I mean,
thanks for bringing up that point. Actually, is there any authors that you're a fan of, Pasta?
Oh yeah,
authors.
Yeah, don't feel bad if you don't read anything. We're all schmucks too.
I mean, really. Sadly, that's kind of the case. I mean, I'll read a book, but I'm about as bad with authors as I am with names. I'm pretty bad with names. So, sadly, I'm not... if you asked me for an author, I couldn't sadly give you one. There are a couple, but for example, I like a lot of Albert Camus stuff. I've read both Animal Farm and 1984 by George Orwell.
Mm-hmm.
I like their stuff, but I just don't read that much books in general, so I think saying favorite author is kind of not right, because I don't have any authors to be favoriting.
Mm-hmm.
So, sadly, yeah. Sorry about that. But...
No, it's perfectly alright.
So, Pasta, have you seen, now that you've seen Starlight Glimmer, she's sort of a similar character to your, that one pony.
Yes.
Do you see any, similarities there? Do you, has some of maybe, affection for Sunset Shimmer sort of rubbed off on Starlight, or do you think she's a totally different type of pony?
I mean, to me, I'd say that Starlight Shimmer...
You broke him.
Starlight Glimmer. I'd say, yeah, she's one of those magic ponies, but honestly, no. I mean, we don't know anything about her past, and, that's a huge, huge aspect of why I like Sunset Shimmer. But then, her personality, I'd say, is pretty different. It's not... Sunset Shimmer doesn't hide. When she was, in her villainous state, she didn't hide it. She was pretty much you could tell by the way that she was acting. She was kind of mean. Whereas Starlight isn't at all like that. I mean, she kind of hides the fact that she's an ass and a bitch.
No,
Is it
no,
cool
you
if
can.
I cuss?
Yeah, you can cuss, especially the basics like that.
Yeah.
It's not if by some miracle Dr. Wolf is listening in.
Yeah.
Oh, I was just about to come on till Pasta said bitch.
No, but and like personally, I kind of don't want them to make her just another student of Celestia because like it's kind of already been used twice.
No, I really buy into Owen's theory. She's going to be a student of Twilight, so I'm seeing it now.
Yeah, I can see that. I can totally see that. Where she learned the magic, though, I don't really know.
Oh, that's a good question.
I mean, like, for all I know, she could have learned it, like, underground shit. He's, like, stealing cutie marks and putting equal signs. That's kind of like,
Dark
I
magic.
don't expect someone to have just, like, that spell lying around.
It sounds like really evil stuff.
Yeah.
It's like you're ripping someone's essence away.
Mm-hmm. I mean, like, yeah, in Bloom and Gloom, like, that's essentially what Luna said, is that your cutie mark is who you are. So, like, and she was tearing away the totality of who they were.
And the first time Shadow Apple Bloom gets rid of her cutie mark, Apple Bloom remarks, she says, "Wow, that's really powerful magic." I believe those are like almost her exact words. It's like, yeah, that is soup magic.
Yeah.
And I immediately thought of Starlight Glimmer there, and I don't know if that was intentional or not on the writer's part. I'd like to hope it was.
I thought of some Starlight Glimmer as well. Like, personally, I was just really hoping they wouldn't do that. My faith in the writers has gone down, so when all the, like, she had the past pony mark, I'm like, oh no, come on, writers, don't fuck this up, writers. And then once it was revealed that it was like a dream, like I could tell, okay, there's no way that this is true.
I'm expecting a major payoff. Granted, I'm probably building this up for massive disappointment, but I'm like, they've been building with Luna and the CMC for, 3 seasons now? So I'm just, this has been a master plan of, like, one of the writers this whole time. Let's just say Megan. This is going to be a big payoff. I can feel it. This can't be done right here.
Does Pasta know what your theory is there?
Oh,
I
was trying to say it's some kind of Nightmare Moon master manipulation using the Well, I like that whole spiel that Tommy and Anthony C came up. I'm like, how could I keep this BS going? I know that's exactly what it is, but I'm like, I know other people are like, oh, if there was only some way to make this work, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna try my hand at trying to keep it going.
In terms of the whole like cutie mark, in terms of the CMC Luna arc, I'm not really all that impressed by it. Like Sleepless in Ponyville and For Whom the Sweetie Belle Toils they were pretty good episodes. I mean, I wouldn't say that they were like the best ever, or that like this is the most amazing arc they've ever gone through in MLP.
No.
I mean, like most of the arcs they go through over, several episodes, it is kind of like it's super great.
Would you say it's better than the Key arc?
Better than the Key arc.
Yeah.
I mean, like, there's hardly arcs there, though. Like,
well, no, there's a couple. The Grand Galloping Gala would count as an arc. There's a lot of content.
The Grand Galloping Gala is probably the best arc they've done.
Oh. Because,
like, that arc, it actually felt like they were referencing the other things to come in each arc.
Yeah.
Whereas they really weren't in, even the Key arc. The Key arc was basically them just putting, like, these key episodes in there. No reference at all to, like, what happened later because it was a surprise. But, like, it's not really an arc. It's, they get this shit, then, Twilight Kingdom. Whereas for the Luna arc, basically all that is just the fact that Luna went to each of their dreams. Like, there is no connection these 3 episodes. There's not. Except for the fact that these characters just happened to, be in the other ones.
I see what you're saying. Oh, I keep getting beat down on this one. Trying to make it into more than it was.
I mean, like...
No, I understand. Like, I think I specifically reached out to Brony, and he's like, well, technically, these aren't fear-based, blah, blah, blah. He's like, there's fear elements of these, and I'm like, you just completely killed my headcanon. He's like, well, you asked. I was like, well, yeah, I guess I'm going back to the drawing board.
I mean, give me some of the, I guess you could say the
other arcs?
Not as nice, questions, because I kind of felt like you would eventually.
Well, the worst thing I had there was to bring up the Tommy thing. What were your thoughts on the whole equestrian game, since that'd been built up since damn near season 1?
Like how the payoff was in the equestrian
Yeah,
games?
I'm almost... Didn't Rainbow Dash... I know she mentioned the Wonderbolts. Did she mention, like, the equestrian games in the very first episode or not?
No. That
no.
wasn't until season 3.
I think that, like, Equestria Games, it was a pretty shitty episode, if you ask me. What makes it shitty isn't really the fact that they did what they did. What makes it shitty to me is just that I felt like we had already seen this aspect of Spike, and they didn't really lay out a new, interesting element to his character until, like, the last 5 seconds. when he's, giving the moral. That was what made it interesting. That was what made it fun. Him just kind of freaking out the entire time wasn't that interesting to me. I guess my kind of take on the people who are kind of bummed out that we didn't get a huge payoff, I can totally see why they would. I mean, like, how many episodes did we see prior to it? 3? And it was hyping it up. I mean, they even put sports in the trailers for the, episode.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't mind people thinking that we would get some sort of sports-based episode. I think that, like, the counter criticisms that people who like the episode give to the people who don't like it are pretty shitty. Like, they're not, like, okay, so there's no way they could have made the episode more sports-related. I call BS on that.
Yeah.
There's tons of ways that they could have made it more sports related. Like, they had this whole thing in the beginning with Pinky, where, like, she wanted Ponyville's team to win. You could have done this sort of hammy, something about, like, rooting for your favorite team kind of thing, and they could have done a montage with the sports.
Would they have been in danger of basically retreading the same territory as Rainbow Falls? Because that would have been your quintessential sports episode that it was not exactly received entirely well by the fans.
I mean, Rainbow Falls, I'd say it was pretty sports focused, but it was largely focused on, like, Rainbow Dash and choosing between the Wonderbolts and Ponyville.
Yeah, but wouldn't that have been where you would have probably have had to put the focus for the equestrian games would have been on Rainbow Dash?
No, like I just said, put it on Pinky. Like, she wanted Ponyville's team to win. You could have done this thing where she's putting pressure on, like, the Ponyville athletes to win, and you could have had this moral at the end, which, I mean, it's not as good as the one we got, but it'd be like, don't get your hype up too much for your team to win, or, some sort of sports-based fan thing. I mean, really, they could even make it general and apply it to being a fan. I mean, I think that bronies could learn a lesson or two from that. So that's just one way they could have made it work. I think there's plenty of ways that you can make it work. Do I want a straight sports episode? No, of course not. I don't want just a straight sports episode, but I do think that you can do another character go through another character arc that is more like means that you need to focus on the sports more so.
No more hoofball.
I was about to say I'm okay to watch like 2-3 minutes of hoofball.
No.
Just a little, I don't have to have a whole episode of it.
Yeah, just like a second or two.
Hey, you had mentioned not so nice questions. Is that still on the table?
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Okay. So, when you were choosing your OC, what made you decide to go with a dirty mud pony?
Oh, Jesus Christ. Nicely done, Corpulent.
Well, there's some character to the mud ponies. Like, the unicorns are like, they're like cultureless swine. They really have nothing of worth. I mean, Twilight, like, there are a couple, of course. There are a couple that are really, like, they have the culture, but most of them are just kind of like,
okay,
they've got nothing. But, I mean, to be serious, the reason I chose Earth Pony was just because I don't know, it seemed like I just kind of like the idea of having an OC which is sort of more intelligent, like their whole cutie mark and what they're interested in is more abstract, but they're an Earth Pony. I just thought that was kind of a cool idea. Instead of having, like, every single person who has a sort of abstract special talent being a unicorn, I think that's kind of like boring. Gets boring after a while. So,
are you still pushing for a pony race war? I know for a time wasn't that one of your things?
Yeah. Earth Pony Revolution. I mean, that's one of my causes, but it's not like a huge cause at the moment. I got other ones I'm focusing on, like Sons of Shimmer Church. That's a big one.
Oh,
like,
I thought you gave that up.
No, I didn't. I just I have another one. It's the Armada Against Positive Mobs. We have a lot of
that?
Well, you see F and GR right here.
Oh, all right. I want to correct you on this. This is where you're completely wrong. You keep lumping everyone positive together like it's one big giant hug box. We have many factions, sir.
I'm not saying that every positive person is like this. I'm against the people who are basically sort of creating this sort of dumb peer pressure that people need to be positive. I think, like, Miss Anthro Pony, if you guys have seen.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Sheldon's a big fan of his for whatever.
No, he's a faggot.
There you go. There's the bus, Miss Anthro Pony. Yeah. You just went under it.
I just kind of think it's pretty mean, like, what he does. Like, Byter's whole defragging of his stuff, I thought was pretty well put. Like, he didn't address anything that Byter said. He just said, like, near the very beginning that he was really, really negative, and apparently that's really, really bad. And then, like, he just threw out all of Byter's points and didn't really even give any backup to, like, what's the problem. Like, he complained about Byter disliking, I think, Leap of Faith because he said Big Mac was a gimmick character. And, like, okay, so you have a problem just with the fact that Byter would have said that? I mean, you don't have to agree with it, but I think that that's kind of going a little too far. Like, it's okay, it's one minor opinion. I mean, well, the video... Yeah.
For his first critical, where he was going to go set the analysis community ablaze, he did get a lot of attention for a first try. I'll give him that.
He totally did.
I was about to say, well, look, buddy, A and Y mentioned you. It's not a bad start.
I mean, setting up a whole fight with other YouTubers, that's gonna get attention. Yeah. Of course, so I just don't like positive, like, people are like Starlight, that I think Tommy's comparison is pretty solid. They are kind of forcing this positive atmosphere.
Well, I think she's a great villain for that, man. She makes my skin crawl. That's what makes her fun. You should have a villain who's kind of repulsive.
Do you want villains like that all over the place?
No. Listen to me. Here's one of the biggest problems with the community that I've seen, especially in the reviewing analysis community. This is what I don't understand. So, like, you have a bunch of guys, like you said, Miss Anthro Pony here, who's sitting here shitting on everyone, telling everyone, yo, you got to be more positive. You got to, just come to this, have fun. Your expectations, whatever, they're too high. Whatever the fuck he's going on about. And then you have other guys who come off as sometimes really negative, like maybe Byter, or sometimes Golden Fox, or whatever. And you have like all of these people who are taking these guys' opinions very seriously. And it seems like from the back here, when you're observing all this, because for myself personally, I just come to this show because I find it fun and I find it cute. And I've said this before. And if it is not doing things that are fun to me and that are cute to me, then it has failed in my eyes. But if it continues to do that, it's doing what I expect it to do. And anything above that, it's just extra. It's like that cherry, on the cake or whatever. It's this delicious extra stuff. But it's like everybody who's looking at it from a distance sees that, they notices these trends in the fandom, like, oh, suddenly everyone's so negative, and then, oh, suddenly these people are so positive, and then it's like, oh, well, this guy is negative and this guy is positive, and people just get so like almost offended or upset at the fact that people are being negative or positive. And man, I don't get this bullshit. Like, this is what I say.
Same.
If you watch an episode of whatever, it doesn't have to be My Little Pony. It can be whatever. If you're a reviewer or if you're a critic or you're analyzing something and you don't like something about it, then say it. And if you like something about it, then say it, man.
Yeah.
Like, don't worry about what these faggots over here are bitching and complaining about, man, because your opinion is not going to be their opinion, and you're not going to be able to change that just by making some video and arguing some points, right? If somebody really doesn't like something, man, that's just how it is, and deal with that.
Yeah, and like, I have these instances where I basically will go to someone's video, I'll make a critique, and then I'll end up with this scenario where they like disagree with my take. And I'm like, okay, so you disagree with my take, that's fine. If you don't want to go in my direction, then don't go in my direction. But you have these people who, like, they get so crazy, like, in this huge conflict of, like, oh no, should I do what this guy wants, this one guy wants? Or should I do what I want? Do what you fucking want. Like,
man, Pasta man. Tommy's video on Cutie Map.
Yeah.
Fucking, it might have been Castle Sweet. No, it was Cutie Map. Josh Scorcher made this comment. I don't know if you read it.
I remember that. Yep.
And holy fuck, did I get pissed off. I was like, what the fuck is this shit? Because Josh is basically in the video, Tommy's kind of saying, like, I'm not going to hide the fact that I had issues with this episode. And he does give you an option to skip it if you so wish. And later on, he claims that, you need to not, just some of you guys are like, he gets the feeling, I guess, or the inclination that some people are just blindly watching the episodes and just kind of, through the hype or whatever, or through their expectations, he might think that are too low or whatever, or not on, in his opinion, the same as his, which they can't be, because they are different fucking people. But he's basically saying that, don't be like sheep, just don't praise this because just because it's a new episode or whatever. and because ponies are back. So Josh Scorcher goes in the fucking comments, and he's like, how dare you insult your viewers and your fan base calling them sheep? How dare you? I'm like thinking to myself, fuck, did you not listen to what the guy just said? Were you not listening to this fucking video? I'm pretty sure Tommy says in this, so I went back and I went forward and I watched it again, and Josh is claiming he's calling, that Tommy's calling his entire fan base just a bunch of sheep or whatever, and he doesn't ever fucking say this. He doesn't even imply it. Like, his wording is something like, if some of you come to this or whatever, like he's not addressing everybody. Yeah, and it's just bullshit like this. Like, people who watch content on YouTube and then something is said and something, it could be implied one way or the other, but once you really look at it and you kind of listen to it again, you kind of get what they're saying or the structure or the wording they're using. Like, he's not saying this, Josh. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Who the fuck are you to come in here and say shit like this? Like, dude, get the fuck out of here. Go back to your dumb videos. Like fuck off. And that's fine if he wants to express his opinion. Like, I get that, and that's cool. But man, this comes back earlier to when we were talking about YouTube comments. Like, and I'm guilty of this too. Like, sometimes I'll watch something and then I'll get over emotional over something, right? And then I'll say something and I'm like, damn, I shouldn't have said that. Or I get a bunch of backlash and I'm like, all right, I was wrong. Like, I think it's very important that people who are watching videos, and if they disagree with the opinion or even if they agree with it, to really go back and watch it again and just kind of sit on it a little longer and think about it and really, figure out how you stand on things. Because like I said, for myself, I find myself getting a little bit too caught up in the moment, and sometimes if I really like something and then I'll make a comment praising it and and then I watch it again like a day or two later and I'm like, why did I say that? It's like, guys, serious, it's just a fucking kid's show. Christ, you dumb bronies, get over yourselves.
When you say it that way, what do you think of people who make, I don't know, hour-long documentary?
What?
I said, well, if it's just a kid's show.
Referring to Byter?
No, hour-long documentaries. You know what I'm talking about. People that we were supposed to interview today.
Neal X.
Yeah.
Neal X. No, I think Neal's shit is great.
Oh, yeah. No, I was just, it cuts both ways, man.
In that situation, Neal.
No one's gonna listen that far. Don't worry about it.
I kind of like the Brony Chronicles because it's a little bit more. There's a lot of discussion in there, and there are a lot of opinions. Yeah. But it's also at the same time, Neal constructs these videos in a way where they're pointing out a lot of different references and a lot of different key components of the fandom, and each episode is a little different, right? Some are more opinion based, or some.
I did want you there.
Kind of factually based, so it kind of depends on the episode.
I did want you there to bring up, because I know you said you were disappointed when Neal let it get away from his control when Final Draft and Digi started breakdown and arguing. And you said, "Whoa,
me?"
Yeah, you mentioned that, and I was hoping that you'd bring what?
There's some moments where Digi and Final Draft are kind of whatever, but Neal's really good at keeping shit on track.
Oh, okay.
Dude. Like, he doesn't let that shit slide very quickly.
Yeah, no, but in general, what you were saying, Sheldog, like the whole people taking shit too seriously, I think that applies all over the place. It happens with the creators. It happens with the people who are in the comments. You cannot comment negatively to a Dr. Wolf video without getting shit. Really, and by shit I mean they're complaining that, oh my gosh, you're so elitist, you're so negative, just taking shots at you.
Pasta. I had to spend an hour, one of them, in my comments, I was like, look, man, you're just here to troll. He's like, no, I'm not here to troll. I was like, well, here's my Skype. I managed to talk him down and change his opinion. I said, look, all I gotta do this is a couple thousand times more, and I'll be right as rain.
Did you record it?
No, it was just in private message. I was like, well, look, man, if you're not here to showboat and you're not here to soapbox, take it to Skype. We'll sit there, we'll talk through it. I'll tell you everything I know. I'll open up all the books, all the crap I know about Dr. Wolf, and I'll let you make up your own fucking mind. And he changed his mind. And I said, by the way, I could have took this same information and gave it over to Horse News. I chose not to.
And I mean, I did that same thing with Josh Scorcher. I think that Josh's intentions were pure. I just think that he missed that detail, and critique him for missing it. That's not a bad thing to do.
Well, the fervor is strong. The season has just started, and everyone's feeling super hyper and glowy in the minute someone comes along and starts kicking the tires on the fun train. Oh, this fucker.
It's their own damn fault. He gave them an op. He gave them an ability to skip it.
Right.
And
Right.
they did. So if you go into negativity, expect to get shit.
Yes.
Like you're gonna get negativity, and if you like the episode, you're gonna get pretty down. Maybe. I mean, hopefully you don't.
Maybe I should re-edit this where like the negativity is at the front and I'll put a skip option too. That's the way Tommy did it. Instead of hiding it on the end. No one will get to this negative shit if I leave it at the back end. Any way to make it more complicated than it already is.
Yeah. But any other questions? You know, like.
Oh, I was actually I was a bit annoyed. I was like, God, I hope they have something. I ran out of stuff. So we're good?
Oh, I have one.
Yeah,
actually.
let's hear it, man.
Okay.
Besides the entire, Jerry censoring his comments and all, and being very negative to Digibro and Tommy Oliver, is there any other issues you have with him besides any of that?
Not really.
Yeah.
I mean, Jerry Peet, I found out, like, in a video a while back that, like, all of his rants are kind of staged.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of took away, like, a lot of any of the other beefs I'd have with him. Just, like, he's intentionally getting himself in that state, that rant state, and saying all of that stuff. So it's like his emotions might not be 100% there.
Like voice to the second power, essentially.
Yeah. You
have to be in on the joke.
I mean, I think that someone like Voice of Reason is probably more authentic in the emotion he gives. Just like, because that's the problem when you make a rant series or a positivity series. You're basically skewing yourself to give something negative or positive, like to get yourself into that state. And it's kind of why I disagree with that whole sort of method, like, oh, I'm going to just talk about the positivity here, or oh, I'm just going to talk about the negativity here. Because to me, it's just like, you're not really presenting who you are on this subject. You're presenting like a skewed version of it. And that's just as bad, I think, as presenting like what Dr. Wolf does, which is a neutralized version of yourself, where you're basically like,
I was thinking neutered was the word you
neutered, like that's
Yeah.
like,
I'm gonna have fun with the timestamps.
making your shit extreme and making your shit neutral, like either or isn't good. I actually think that, I mean, maybe you could even call Jerry Peet a bit of a hypocrite, in the sense that, like, he talks shit about how Digi and Tommy are just doing the negativity to get on people's nerves, to basically for the sake of negativity. And like he does rants, like he intentionally makes him get into this sort of like angsty state,
so edgy,
and say shit about other people. So like, isn't he kind of doing the same thing that he's accusing them of doing? Yeah, like, and I mean, I think he's just kind of stupid in that regard. Like, he's just not unaware of it.
Well, I'm hyper. Like I said, the more we talk about that, the more I'm kind of super curious to see how he really acts when when the show.
A lot better.
Yeah, probably a lot better. I'm guessing.
Yeah.
So we had that discussion. I think when we got off the podcast with Purple Tinker, I turned to Toon Critic and I said, it'll be disappointing if I ever meet Final Draft and he's not fire-breathing Satan himself and he's just some normal schlep. And he's like, he probably is. He probably is just this normal, boring guy that everybody's like hyped up to being this horrible son of a bitch.
Isn't it like everybody? Like no one is as bad or good as their public reputation is. Like, it's usually an extreme version.
Yes.
Though in the case of people like Jerry Peet, I think he aids people in coming up with that shitty, Yeah.
I do like presenting it though, and I do like I like there are situations where truth itself is the troll, where people are like, no, I have to believe this. I'm like, but it's not true. Take a look. It hurts people to see the real show behind the magic, essentially.
Yeah. I mean, but I think that presenting that truth to me isn't like as bad. Like, people freak out over the truth that people don't like an episode. Like, okay, sorry, you can't handle the truth.
Well, one of the master plans I had is if I get enough people on the show, I'll be able to give a different goddamn opinion and be like, look, these people don't think I suck. Practically no one does. One day I might eventually be able to have a different opinion than everyone else. Maybe I'll earn that right. You think you're a fucking idealist, Pasta.
Well, okay, well, I'd say maybe you're like a hidden idealist. Like, you don't show it.
I'm working
usually.
on it. Yeah, I am working on it. I have to be a sneaky bastard about it, like everything else. The world's not ready to hear it.
Look at me. I'm not a sneaky bastard. I say it outright, and people still put up with me.
Well, you found your niche, man. You've got like this little mini Peter thing going. We're like, well, I'm Pasta. You just have to put up with it.
It's because I struck the iron when it was hot.
Yes, I've seen what happens to my peer when they stand their ground. They get knocked the fuck down. I'm going to the mighty oak breaks in the storm. The blade of grass survives.
Yep. But I mean, like, I get shit all the time. Like, people call me elitist and all these things, yet the fact I've never said my shit is better than anyone. But, man, like, that's the way it is. And you gotta put up with it.
Well,
if you can't, then you're not ready for the internet.
I think we've come and caught our turn tonight. You'll need to get back to your work unless you're really still stalling that out.
I mean, yeah, I've been stalling it out this entire time.
I noticed there was a point in time you're like, I don't want to go back to high school work. I remember, like, after 20 minutes, I was like, this is going to be the easiest podcast in God's green earth to edit. Holy shit. Glad I had y'all. I had a great time.
All right, kiddies.
All right.
I will see you guys later.
Take care.